Hey guys, a lot going on in the cryptocurrency markets at the moment, so can't be bothered typing it out. So we're going to jump in and do a quick video and have a look at the charts. And yes, you can see in the background, I finally got my couch. It's been a long awaited arrival, but hopefully you guys appreciate the view. So let's quickly jump in and have a look at what's going on Bitcoin because we've had some wild volatility recently. And, we've been nailing some absolute gem trades in the Discord. If you're not in there and you're still in the Facebook group or following me on Twitter or something, or just following us on YouTube, there's a link below to jump into Discord because we have nailed the absolute bottom back here in May. Gave everybody the really clear long entry, took that on myself as well. Gave the exit trade to either hedge or get out up the top here. And then also we nailed the previous low in mid-July as well, pretty much to the bottom of the 5-minute candle. And then also gave the warning up here on Bitcoin and Solana that it was looking like it was going to roll over. We weren't getting out at the top of the developing yearly value area high. And, we had a full rotation all the way down to the value area low. And then just the other day, we nailed the bottom here once again, right down. I gave everybody the exact entry right when in the moment when the market was about to turn. And, the New York market opened and that ended up putting in the bottom exactly the way we planned it. And, we've had a really nice rally all the way through now, and we've taken out the developing yearly VWAP through here, which is a significant level to get back above. So now we're above that. We want to see price come back down and hold this basically at 60K or 59,500, 59,600, if you want to get really specific, and bounce off that and, then make its way up to the value area high, which is pretty much 69,000, right? And then we'll see if price can finally get out of there. Now we have to remember seasonality. And usually August is a terrible month. Typically, August and October are the worst. Sorry, August and September are the worst 2 months of the year. And then October is statistically the best month of the year. So I've always said for a while now that I'll be looking for a potential bottom in mid to late September. But because we had, the Japanese government and everything going on with that, raising interest rates off zero and it caused a market-wide capitulation event, which obviously blew over into crypto as well. This may be the local bottom here. We can't say anything, but at the moment, it is looking like potentially it's sped up. Probably what was going to be a slow bleed out into a bottom in September has now happened at the start of August, right? And probably one of the biggest things to look at is this massive capitulation that we've had in open interest. So if we look back here, when we had, the Trump event, speaking at Bitcoin conference, everything like that, we can see that everybody went really aggressively long and, open interest pushed really high into new all-time highs and went above 14 billion. We hit 14.5 billion pretty much of open interest. And then what happened? We didn't break out of the all-time highs. We couldn't get out of the yearly value area high. And, that's always a bit of a warning sign. I actually posted on Twitter, I'm like, not pumping on good news usually means there's something off in the market dynamics and we need to go lower to take out, basically the longs in that case, that everybody was going high in the longs. And you had to liquidate either longs or shorts to get balance back in the market before we can continue up in that direction. That's exactly what ended up happening. Probably, exuberated a little bit by the Japanese government, that's for sure, creating that liquidity crisis. Now they've reversed their stance anyway. And, the other thing that happened overnight also was we had US jobs numbers came in pretty good again. So I think everybody sort of realized, hey, it's not the end of the world. We're not about to have an imminent recession. So things are looking pretty good moving forward. And so, basically the two reasons why the market had a really aggressive dump off was worries about we're about to go into a recession because, unemployment had been raised. When unemployment had gone up faster than expected. And then obviously what was happening with the Japanese government interest rates and, messing up the carry trade and people having to liquidate assets, right? So combination of both those things being removed has created this really aggressive bounce back up to, where we just hit about 63K, right? So the thing that we need to be careful of right now, I want to just sort of bring everybody's attention to is we're struggling. We didn't close above the 200 daily moving average, which is this red line. So going to be interesting to see how this plays out, but I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up rolling over a little bit in this daily and fill some of this gap, because there's a whole heap of imbalances that have been left. You know, if you have studied our advanced course, we call those single prints. But basically, when the market pushes aggressively like this, there's a lot of gaps that get left, and the market makers like to come back and fill those in. But that perfectly lines up with our value. Basically, I was going to say value area high, but actually lines up with our developing yearly VWAP, right? So we could definitely see this getting tagged. And what I would like to see is this ends up holding a support and V actions off of there and rallies quite hard, or we get some sort of a bull flag here and then push tonight in the New York session. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. But basically, you know, the thing that we need to get over is 200 developing just here. The 200 daily moving average. And the other thing to take note as well is we have just filled the CME gap that was opened at the start of the week before we had that really big sell-off. So expecting probably a little bit more sideways action, probably going to see some more action similar to like this kind of stuff through here, just choppy sideways action. So we had a really nice bounce, choppy sideways action grinding up, and then we just liquidated a lot of shorts. I will show you here on this push here that we had into the high, actually, this candle right here, you can see down the bottom of my screen, there was 13.6 million shorts in this 1 5-minute candle got liquidated. That's a massive amount of shorts getting liquidated. And in the candle before, there was 1 million shorts liquidated as well. So basically in these two candles, we had almost 15 million shorts getting liquidated. So I wouldn't be surprised now. You can see in this candle here that there wasn't a lot of volume in the bottom of this candle, and all the volume was in the top. So there's a lot of imbalances through here. If we zoom in, I need to reset it so we can actually see, but I actually don't have the setting on to show the numbers inside the candle, but you can just see in the value area that's highlighted through here, there's not a lot of volume that has been gone through this section of the candle. So potentially the market might try and come back and fill that in. And that's also right where our VWAP level is as well, right? So this chart here. So yeah, if that ends up getting filled in, I would not be surprised at all, because a lot of people just went long right into the highs. And the reason why we can tell that is because we can see that funding, right? We had negative funding down here when this graph goes white down the bottom. That means that short, you have to pay to be in a short. So that means there's a lot of people shorting the market versus how many people are longing. And it means that this price of spot market is actually higher than the futures market, which creates, the need to pay for funding, right? And so when we have the market moving up into negative funding, that can lead to a big squirt of liquidations, which is exactly what we had. And we can see that open interest came down as we went higher, right? So thing to keep our eye on as well. This has been a spot-led rally. You can see the white line here has been leading the market out of the big sell-off that we've had here. And spot has led us out of the market. That tells us that we're having quite a healthy and strong rally out of the lows there. And, that's what should be expected after a massive sell-off in open interest, because like I was saying before, we're at 14.9 billion and it sold off all the way down to 8 billion. So that is a huge, huge sell-off of open interest, and one of the biggest that we've seen possibly the biggest sell-off at open interest that we've had, because we're obviously at all-time highs as well. So it's all, whenever you have a really big sell-off, a big dump like that, it's always, the largest ever. But so I wouldn't be surprised if that was, or one of the largest ever drops in open interest in one single retracement. So it's something to keep in mind as well. So it basically tells us the market has completely reset and puts us into a position now where we can continue higher and probably move out of this range eventually. I still want to keep in mind seasonality, and I still always want to think about most likely the market will break out of this range sometime in October. So, potentially we're going to end up, with a green monthly. It looks like, by the end of this month. I mean, look at this day, the weekly that we've got at the moment, and we've still got another 3 weeks, to go in this month. So the monthly could end up looking pretty nice in the end, but so we're not even that far off it actually being a green month right now. Where's the monthly open? Yeah, basically get above 65K and we're into green territory. But I think the weekly is going to be really important. How does this weekly end up closing? Do we end up closing as a really nice pin bar? And then we'd be looking for a Morningstar reversal on the next weekly. And, like if we get something like this, and then, we close as a bullish engulfing Morningstar and get out the top of the value yearly value area high, I think that would be absolutely massive for the market. And we'll probably just continue to pump from there. But I wouldn't be surprised if this maybe disappoints for the next few weeks. We've had such an amazing week, but we do have to remember that it is August, right? Which is typically a really bad month. So we could get a push up, something like this, and then roll over, and then end up, maybe getting trapped in a range through here, September, bleed out again, and then finally October, we end up pushing up and finally getting out. So I mean, anything can always happen, right? But I'm just always want to be thinking about seasonality and how that's going to play into things. So far, our seasonality has been exactly on point and things have been playing out exactly as expected per seasonality. So I wouldn't be surprised if we continue on that path. September ends up being a bit of a rubbish month. Maybe we have like 5 or 10% downturn. And then October, we finally get a break out of this range. And then November, we get the mega pump all the way through to end of April, end of May. So that's what I'm kind of expecting at the moment. Moving forward, hopefully that makes a lot of sense and can give you a little bit of guidance on the direction of the market and what I'm thinking here. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do pull back. Basically a 60K, round numbers always work as well. Fill in those single prints, fill in that imbalance that's in this area here where, when we looked at the order flow chart, there wasn't a lot of volume actually gone through in those candles. So I wouldn't be surprised if that ended up getting filled. We put some sort of bull flag and then push and try to get a rotation up to the value area high, which is pretty much 69K. So that's the main thesis here on Bitcoin at the moment. Let's go quick take a look at Ethereum, which got absolutely annihilated and has been underperforming BTC. And this is why, a lot of people talk about, oh, Ethereum, it's next big thing, blah, blah, blah. I shouldn't say next big thing, but, is, the next coin to really take the spotlight. And it just hasn't been the case. And we haven't broken through this downtrend resistance again. That has been the case now for 703 days. So coming up to 2 years now, we haven't been able to get through this downtrend here. And, eventually that will crack and will pop. And Ethereum will have its moment. My targets are back to the highs here or back to 0.11, potentially higher, deeper into the bull run. But I just feel like Ethereum will continue to disappoint until Bitcoin has made new all-time highs and Bitcoin is really, really strong. And then we finally see a proper rotation from Bitcoin taking profit into Ethereum, and we break this downtrend through here, and then it takes off. Now we could see some action once the GBTC, so the grayscale outflows for ETH finally finish up. We might see a rebound in Ethereum and get back up to this trend line, but I just feel like something major is going to have to happen before we really start to see Ethereum take over in place of BTC. But the thing I do have my eye on at the moment is Solana. It is looking extremely strong. We have had a breakout of Solana versus Ethereum. Right. So yeah, that is pushing out to new all-time highs right now and looking very, very strong. I will say as well, obviously the BTC chart looks a little bit, looks almost exactly the same, but even just a little bit stronger, right? Oops. So let's go take a quick look at that. Just waiting for this basically to take out 0.003. So that's really the level here to keep our eye on. If we can clear that, that'll be a really good indication that Solana is absolutely ready to take off. But it looks like it's just building up, higher highs, right? Flat top, higher highs all the way through here. So I should say higher lows through here, right? And just building that compression, eventually you do something like this and then pop off, right? Or, maybe from this run, it's going to do something like that. So wouldn't be surprised if we got some sort of, continued compression through here and then it breaks out and pushes to new highs versus Bitcoin. And everyone will look back at this and be like, oh my God, that was the most obvious trade of all time. And that's why I'm very heavily in Solana at the moment. So yeah, we've got some amazing entries on Solana and BTC. If you've been following us in the Discord, absolutely nailed the bottom on Sol back here. Then I gave everybody the very obvious exit signal up here with this SFP. And then we also had the bearish divergence through here as well, right? So that was a really nice top signal. And then we got beautiful rollover all the way back down to 40% dump down to the value area low and extremely strong rebound up 47%. So I've actually managed to increase my Solana bag by a very big amount just by trading that on spot and selling up here and then rebuying back at the lows. So that's been a really nice trade. So those are the two main charts I'm really been focusing on lately. And then obviously there's a bunch of altcoins as well that we want to be taking a look at. I think one that's actually really easy to milk at the moment has been Toshi. This will just pump really aggressively randomly, so just averaging down and just waiting for one of these 100% rallies. And I think even you could just take position down here somewhere, and only obviously with small positions, and then just set some sells incrementally to sell because it just randomly will get pumped. So you can just have some small sells and just take a little bit of percentages as it moves up. So yeah, but obviously, this has been a downtrend for some time. I think eventually it will get pumped again, just a matter of time. The main one though, I think for the memes is Popcat. We did give in Discord, we did give the exit signal up here, which I thought was a bit of an obvious one. That was the same time as Solana. And obviously a really big rollover from there. But I do think that this potentially is going to be the next main, I mean, it already has been, but the next main meme coin to push really aggressively. So out of the meme coins, I'm sort of like keeping my eye on Popcat for entry. I don't have an entry on this at the moment, so it would be nice to get some sort of a fill back here or, chop sideways for a little bit so we can get in, but we'll have to see about that. But I think if you're going to be trading meme coins, this is definitely one to be keeping your eye on. FET is at a pretty nice level at the moment because we had a full pullback, right? All the way down to the breakout level before it went absolutely nuts into this parabolic phase earlier in the year in February. So that's not a full retrace as altcoins always do. So if it can hold this level, it's actually not a bad spot to be looking to get back involved. You can also wait until it reclaims the developing value area low as well, right? So it might do something like this, right? And then we'll be looking for rotation and then rotation. So take profit 1, take profit 2 at the value area high and the VWAP. Okay. Yeah, so other than that, I think Sol ecosystem is getting ready to go absolutely nuts. I mean, obviously, JTO had a really big pump, 26% yesterday, but it's sort of struggling at the developing yearly VWAP. So a reclaim of that could be a nice entry. Could do something like this, could get a nice bounce, and we're looking for higher low, and then rotation up to value area high or the all-time high up here. Jupiter, obviously one that always performs really well. Nice falling wedge here and has come back and sort of retested that falling wedge there quite nicely during that last sell-off and having a nice 40% rebound at the moment. So we'll just have to wait and see how this ends up playing out. This is a pretty nice SFP of that high as well for the exit. But I think if Solana continues to push, JTO and Jupiter are also going to rally really aggressively, and this will end up back at the highs if Solana eventually pushes, which is surely just a matter of time. And then Radium is also the other one. This had a really nice bounce off the developing value area low as well and reclaim VWAP. So potentially nice trade off the VWAP and then back up to these highs up here. But I'm sort of just holding a spot bag of this as well because I think potentially can go much higher, and we'll just continue to track Solana. So I just got a small bag just as a Solana, sort of beta play, and expecting, eventually to be able to sell this at pretty much 8.2 sometime in the bull market when we do get really aggressive rotations and alt season. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you all in the next episode.